One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he paves his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Shit, what's good with everyone, man? Good morning and happy hump day to all of you legends up in here, man. Absolutely. Freaking hump day. And you guys can see the damn cat today, by the way. She's over there chilling out on the arm of the couch. So, hey, make sure you guys hit that like button. You guys are so funny about Lucy. Once in a while, you guys are like, I ain't hitting that like button unless I see that damn cat. Well, listen up, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot of shit going on. Unfortunately, there has been a humongous wildfire that happened over in New Jersey, started yesterday, and it's burned up. I mean, it's insane. It's huge. Same thing with the amount of people they had to evacuate. I believe they had to evacuate 3,000 people, but we're still going to, get into the details of that here in a minute, as well as Trump is going to be signing more executive orders today and much more. We're going to be discussing. I believe there's a few things in the media that we're going to be, seeing on this episode that is not listed on the title, of course. I mean, there's a lot of breaking news every day. And by the way, I just want to say good morning to all my homies up in here. We got Wildfire, we got Hardwire, we got Tiffany, we got freaking Rabbit of Chaos, we got Naomi. Appreciate you guys so much for hanging out with us, man. Always appreciate you. We got Carney's right up in here. We got Obi Joe, Brother Steve, Warland, Brother Frank. No, I appreciate you guys more than you guys even know, man. Sincerely. All right. So before we get into the craziness, man, as we always got to do our call to actions, you know what I mean? Make sure you guys hit that like button. It's number one metric of all of YouTube. Helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are brand new to the show, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button because it's also free. Listen, please consider becoming a member starting only at $2.99 a month. This is exactly why we get to speak the way that we do, because we don't have to cater to views because we have you guys, man. We're 100% funded by you guys. We don't give a fuck about no views. We are, that's how we get to speak the way we do here. Also follow my little side note. Follow my Instagram at Ball Valve TV, where I post everything behind the scenes and not only my lifestyle, but of the show, as well as Millennial Food Time and everything in between. This is a great way to get a hold of me personally. And then, of course, Naomi's throwing in the Discord link in the chat for you guys. So if you guys haven't joined in on that, the majority of you guys are already in there. So little side note, of course, every super chat, super sticker, gifted membership signups, all of these things are, of course, going to be shouted out live onto the freaking show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut, well, then check it out. We have these scrolling for the remainder of the show. And of course, I will shout out you and your message over there on those platforms. And this is the best way to do it, man. Just letting you guys know if you guys ever want to send anything of substance, especially. I mean, you don't have to. Anyways, something I'm very appreciative of. But of course, this is the way 100% of that comes to me and not to YouTube. Anyways, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I always appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Let's go ahead and get into the freaking show, man. I want to start off this morning. with JD Vance right before he leaves India. I guess there was a few things that there was, discussed this morning. So let's go ahead and get into that real quick.
Around this time
I got to
yesterday, we
fix
did
one
have
thing
live
real quick.
comments coming in from Vice President J.D. Vance as he was over in India. And he talked a little bit about the relationship, especially with the economy, between the U.S. and India.
Why did I do that?
Now, he did depart India a short time ago and spoke with reporters who were asking him questions about a variety of issues. I do want to play those comments in full for you here for the first time on Live Now from Fox.
I reset all my shit.
It's great to be here in Agra. We obviously just visited Taj Mahal with my family, one of those beautiful historic sites in the world. It was really special to get to see it, especially with the kids, especially as completely deserted as it was. Obviously, President Trump visited last time he was in India, and it was a great honor to see it. We've had a very successful visit. I want to just, of course, issue our condolences to the people of Kashmir who were...
It's been fixed. I fixed the whole show. Boom, boom. All right, we're good. But real quick, we got Robert Demita as well, by the way. Good morning to you. We got Evil Rick saying he made it in. Always appreciate my man right there. Sorry for that real quick. I had to fix one thing. Everything on StreamYard reset. I don't know why it did that. We got Dragon Classy, by the way. Good morning to you. Hopefully you're doing well. We got Gunpowder Nitro as well. And we got Chairman of the Board saying, I support COVID boosters. Well, hey, we know your stance on that, kind sir. We got Steve Posey saying, ladies and gentlemen, it's the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Mike Ball. She is. Stop the cat.
Stop the cat.
Stop the cat. I ain't no legend, but I do very much appreciate you, man. Hopefully you're doing well. We got America Uncensored as well. Thank you, sir, for hanging out with us. Ghost Eagle, appreciate you, man. We got, let's see here. Oh, there's my man right there. Mount High up in the building. Shout out to my man right there. Good morning to you, kind sir, as well. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. I'm trying to catch up. I'm catching up. Boom. I'm caught up with the chat. Definitely not a legend. Stop capping.
Stop the cap.
Don't cap like that. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into the craziness. Oh, and last but not least, of course, we got Brother Straight Jacket up in the building. Shout out to all the legends up in here. And hey, maybe, just maybe
you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
I had to re-upload that because it deleted it. I don't know why. It deleted everything. So that was what I had to download and put on to the StreamYard. Anyways, we're back in action here. I wanted to play that when I was saying the donations, you know what I mean? When I was calling that out in the beginning. That's what I like to, I want to be able to play that when I do that.
Affected by this
terrorist
attack. The president's already spoken with Prime Minister Modi. I believe I'll be speaking with him later this afternoon. And obviously we're providing whatever assistance and help we can provide to the government, to the people of India. But this has been a
Brother Todd J, good morning to you.
Visit. The people here have been so welcoming, so kind to us. We're sad to leave, but excited to get back home.
The Pope obviously passed away a few days ago.
Yeah.
Are you planning to attend his funeral?
So I'm not currently planning to attend his funeral. I'm not currently planning to not attend his funeral. We just haven't really thought that much about when his funeral is going to be and who's going to attend from our government. I mean, let me just say a couple of words about the Holy Father. Obviously, I was able to see him very briefly.
Terrible
the morning of
coverage.
Easter Sunday.
Terrible coverage.
I knew he was very ill.
You have no internet in India or what?
I didn't realize
like they're recording from fucking potato.
How sick he was. The thing that I will always remember Pope Francis for is that he was a great pastor. People on the margins, poor people.
Bruh. Okay, maybe he was a great pastor, but his political takes were fucking dog shit.
Stupid. People suffering from diseases. They saw in Pope Francis an advocate and I think a true expression of Christian love. So we're very saddened by it.
Appreciate that,
Obviously,
Steve.
Our condolences to the Catholics all over the world, but especially back home who loved and honored the Holy Father.
What does it feel like knowing you were maybe one of the last officials to meet with him before he died?
Yeah, I thought a lot about that. I mean, it's pretty crazy, actually. And obviously, when I saw him, I didn't know that he had less than 24 hours still on this earth.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding about that.
It was a great blessing. But, I think he saw a lot of people. I think he affected a lot of lives. And I try to just, remember that I was lucky that I got to shake his hand.
Be one of them.
Tell him that I pray for him every day because I did and I do.
In his final Easter message that the Archbishop read in St. Peter's Square, he talked about not stirring up contempt against the vulnerable and migrants and the logic of fear not being something world leaders should yield to. Do you have any thoughts on that? And has his death caused you at all to reflect on the policies of the Trump administration in any way?
Well,
I am in
think
need of
that
browse this
obviously
morning.
A lot of people, especially in the American
Gee.
press, want to make the Holy Father, his entire legacy, and even his death about American politics. I think it was obviously a much.
Yes, he is. He's going to get asked about it, Steve. He's going to be asked about it. And I don't know if he says anything about it, but we'll see.
Figure than the United States of America. He represents over 1 billion Catholics worldwide. Yes, I'm aware that he had some disagreements with some of the policies of our administration. He also had a lot of agreements with some of the policies of our administration. I'm not going to soil the man's legacy by talking about politics. I think he was a great Christian pastor, and that's
it's probably the best thing to do is just don't slag him, especially with the amount of the position you're in right now. Yeah, it's probably not best to get into the politics side of shit.
I choose to remember the Holy Father.
Would you like to see the next pope continue in the direction that Francis took the church, or would you like a more traditional path?
I won't pretend to give guidance to the Cardinals on who they should select as the next pope. We've got plenty of issues to focus on in the United States. I'll just say a prayer for wisdom.
Okay, let's get into the terrorist type.
Just a question on Secretary Pete Hegseth. There's been staffers who've come out saying that he's not.
I do want to hear what Vance has to say about Pete Hegseth. I do want to hear that.
Do you still have confidence in the secretary?
Look, I have 100% confidence in the secretary. I know the president does, and really the entire team does. It's one of the most bizarre things about the Hegseth nomination. From the very beginning, the media seemed to want to tank it. And when they failed and they got confirmed, they decided they wanted to keep on that effort to destroy Pete Hegseth as a man, as the Secretary of Defense. I think he's doing a great job. I think that he's brought a certain spirit back to the Department of Defense. And if you look at our military recruitment numbers, that's, in my view, the best testament to his leadership of the military is that for the first time.
Yo, what's up? Christopher Collins up in the building saying having a bad day so far. So just in the background today, smashing the like on the way in. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Christopher. Hopefully we can make your day a little bit better. You know what I mean? But good morning to you.
In a very long time, we don't have terrible.
As well as Brother Plumpy
in the Army, the
good morning.
Navy, and the Air Force. That's a great testament to his leadership. And I wish, frankly, the press talked more about that and not about him.
And all you legends are coming through. We got freaking Hank the Hillbilly as well, man. Good morning to you guys. Good morning. Always appreciate you guys rolling through and hitting that like, by the way, because guess what? Hey, you guys don't have to like all the craziness in the media, but you guys can like what I have to say, my takes, and supporting the channel over here. Very much appreciate that.
Sourcing from random staffers.
Are there any updates on trade talks you can share with us on how the negotiations are going here or elsewhere?
Well, look, we're talking to everybody, especially our most significant trading partners. I believe Secretary Bessent's talked about a lot about what we've done with Japan. I talked with Prime Minister Modi about this, and of course, we announced that we have come to the terms of reference. So we're making progress across the board. It's a little bit too early to prejudge to say what any of these deals is going to look like. But I think the fundamental thing that the president has said is, look, global trade has become fundamentally imbalanced. The American taxpayer and the American nation has become the piggy bank for the entire world. We absorb the world's producer surplus, but that's bad for American workers. It's bad for American exporters. And it's something the president ran on stopping. And I think that he's making great progress in stopping it early on in this second term.
Omar Abrego Garcia's wife has been very vocal about how she doesn't think he's getting due process. And she now also fears for her safety. Do you have a message to her specifically?
Well, I don't have a message to his wife. I mean, look, I just disagree with the idea that he hasn't been offered due process. He had a couple of immigration hearings. He had a valid deportation order. I think this idea that somehow that we couldn't deport an MS-13 gang member, and he was an MS-13 gang member, is preposterous. And I think there's actually a deeper issue going on, which is that you see some.
I still don't know if he's an MS-13 member or not. I don't know. Yes, there was the tattoo of the knuckles and blah, 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 but still doesn't prove enough. It wasn't. Most MS-13 tattoos are MS-13 tattoos. That's just the truth. It's not usually hidden. They're not Latin kings using the king, type. There's not so much symbolicism in that shit. There is a little bit, but their big thing is obviously the 13. But yeah, it's interesting how none of that was actually there. It was just 4 small tattoos on knuckles, and they equivalated it to MS-13, and that might be true, but it's still not enough proof.
Radical judges at the district court level who are trying to layer so much quote unquote process on top of the immigration system that it makes it impossible to function. We have over 20 million illegal.
Yeah, I have no idea what they were talking about, Obi Joe, but yeah, hey, me too. I'm with you, Obi Joe, with the high part. Yes, absolutely. But hey, yeah, he's just being having a line of questions that are happening right now, and so they're asking him about the Garcia case, him being deported to El Salvador. Then he's going to be asked about this terrorist attack that happened in India right after this, I think. And that's the one part I did hear when I tuned in was him talking about that because he got asked the question. So I definitely want to hear what's happening regarding the terrorist attack over there because I have no idea what's happening. I don't even know the storyline yet.
Aliens in the United States of America.
We're going to find out.
Are we not allowed to deport them? Because if we're not allowed to deport them, then what these district courts are saying is fundamentally they reject the will of the American people as it was expressed in November of 2024. We just reject that. I believe the American people elected President Trump to do many jobs, but perhaps the most important job was to bring down the number of illegal immigration in this country. That's what he's trying to do.
Speaking of illegal immigration, little side note here. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you guys have known this, but it's good for me to announce this. Guess right now is better time than never. So I'm going to be flying to California to be visiting my daughter for 5 days. It's going to be an amazing time. It's been planned. I think a lot of you guys here close to me know that I'm going to be doing that, but that is happening this Friday. So that's only here in a couple of days. So tomorrow morning will be the last show for the week. And then I'll be gone for a week. And then when I come back, of course, we'll get back onto normal, the normal scheduled programming. But I will be taking that time off. Yes, I could bring my laptop and do all that. But the truth is it's not like I get to see my daughter like that. So of course I'm going to spend as much time as possible and give that undivided attention. You know what I mean? Anyway, so just want to let you guys know that I'll be gone 8 o'clock in the morning. 8 o'clock in the morning is when my flight is on Friday. So anyways, just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that.
We're going to keep on doing it.
Can you talk about the trip just broadly? Obviously, it was very personal for you. You're Catholic. Your wife is Hindu. Is that something that you have thought about over the past couple of days? Is just Americans and, frankly, the world learning more about you and your family?
It's really been an amazing and a special trip. And, I say this all the time, but I'm very grateful to the American people for giving me this job. But I don't know that I felt more grateful than in the last week. To be able to go to Good Friday services at the Vatican, really the capital of the Catholic Church in the world, to be able to spend Easter Sunday.
Yo, brother Pitbull, my man. He says, hey, brother, and the whole insane family. Hope you're well and having a great week. Remember to rev the like button and drop the clutch on the share button to wheel spin the show out of here. Yes, sir, my man. Good to see you over there in the UK, man. Always appreciate you pulling up. We got Charles Darwin down there from down under. Always appreciate him. He's saying Muslims shooting people. What a surprise. Oh, shit. I have no idea what happened. I have no idea if it was Hindus or if it were Muslim. I have no idea. Let's see. We got brother Red up in here. Good morning, by the way, to you, kind sir, as well. I'm trying to catch up with everybody here. We got allegedly saying fashionably late again. So sorry. Hi, everyone driving. Can't chat. Wishing you all a fabulous day. Thank you so much, allegedly. Hopefully you're having a wonderful morning as well and drive safe. Absolutely. Make sure you drive safe out there. Glad that you're hanging out with us, though. Let's see. We got allegedly coming in with, by the way, for the 6 months saying, love my 11 a.m. appointments. LOL. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, allegedly, for the 6 months, by the way. That's huge. Half a year. Half a freaking year. We got brother Glare up in the building as well, my man. Good morning to you. Always appreciate you as well. Appreciate you hanging out with us. We got Shazzy Bear coming in with the 2 months, by the way. Shit. Saying good afternoon, Mike and chat. Always appreciate you as well, Shazzy. Hopefully you're doing well this beautiful hump day Wednesday. I know for you it's afternoon time, but yeah, it's still 10 in the morning or 10:20 in the morning for me.
Right. I mean, we were steps away from the tomb of St. Paul, one of the great evangelists in the history of Christianity. And then
okay, that's cool. I want to hear the terrorist attack question.
Because good, preemptively.
As the federal government is determining pulling funding from some of these universities,
I don't care about the funding of universities.
When you're disagreeing with Maloney about ending the brutal Ukraine-Russia war, at this point,
this is a Ukraine-Russia question.
Where negotiations are, what do you think is next in that process, and do you think that the U.S. should still hang on and take part in those negotiations?
Well, I'm going to echo something Secretary Rubio said, which is, look, we've issued a very...
And Brother 13, my man, saying hopefully everyone's having a great week. Yes, so far, so good. I can tell you that. Make sure you guys hit the like button for a good freaking week, man. Absolutely.
Explicit proposal to both the Russians and the Ukrainians, and it's time for them to either say yes or for the United States to walk away from this process. We've engaged in an extraordinary amount of diplomacy, of on-the-ground work. We've really tried to understand things from the perspective of both the Ukrainians and the Russians. What do Ukrainians care the most about? What do the Russians care the most about? And I think that we've put together a very fair proposal. We're going to see if the Europeans, the Russians, and the Ukrainians are ultimately able to get this thing over the finish line. Again, I feel pretty optimistic about it. I think everybody has been negotiating in good faith, but it's now time, I think, to take, if not the final step, one of the final steps, which is at a broad level, the party saying, we're going to stop the killing. We're going to freeze the territorial lines at some level close to where they are today. And
just end the motherfucker and stop funding the bullshit. Not us. I mean, we're not funding it like that anymore. But as we know, we had how many British pounds went to like 350 million or something ridiculous? I forget what it was. Or 350 billion. I forget the number. What I think it was million. I don't think it was billion. I think it was honestly million. 250 million British pounds or something like that. 300 million.
We're going to actually put in place the kind of long-term diplomatic settlement that hopefully will lead to long-term peace. I'm going to take one more question before the kids start banging on the airplane windows.
So just to clarify, so you want the current lines of war in the war in Ukraine to remain the same under your proposal?
No, I didn't say that. What I said is the current lines, somewhere close to them, is where you're ultimately, I think, going to draw the new lines in the conflict. Now, of course, that means the Ukrainians and the Russians are both going to have to...
That is true. Both the president and the vice president are both passport bros. You're right. It's crazy that no one's ever spoken about that. That's right. They are not homegrown American women. No, they're from abroad.
Give up some of the territory they currently own. There's going to have to be some territorial swaps. So I wouldn't say the exact lines, but we want the killing to stop. And the only way to really stop the killing is for the armies to both put down their weapons, to freeze this thing, and to get on with the business.
Are you both to go broke?
Of actually building a better Russia and a better Ukraine. We're certainly invested in
that. Naomi just let us know that we got 39 likes, and well, now we've got 42 in the chat, but that's a huge W, by the way. Humongous W to you guys in the Breakfast Club, man. Thank you guys. Sincerely. Goes a long freaking way, dudes.
Effort.
I promise.
The Russians and the Ukrainians will meet us halfway. Thank you, guys. See ya.
All right, so now what we're going to do is that was a decent little line of questioning there, and for some reason I didn't hear anything about the maybe I passed it. I don't know. Regarding the terrorist attack, but we are going to find out a little bit more information about that terroristic attack in India. I really don't know the ordeal there, so I'm going to figure that out anyways. We may figure it out right here, right now, but first we're going to get into the New Jersey wildfires situation, the main title.
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox, 645 on the East Coast, 345 over on the West Coast. Do want to get back into some of the big stories that we are covering and take a look at some of this video coming in from our Fox 29 Philadelphia team moments ago as thousands of people were evacuated from their homes over in the area of Ocean County, New Jersey. A wildfire there burning, and again, you can see some of the video. We also have this live image just coming in, an aerial view of what is still happening there.
I don't know, Hank. I don't control where people are or where they're not. You know what I mean?
Do want to bring in Hank Flynn with our Fox 29 Philadelphia team, who is following the latest. Good morning, Hank. It sounds like you have a few updates there about what you've been following.
We do. Brand new ones, actually. I can look over my shoulder and show you some fairly happy people, actually. People shuffling their way through the parking lot on their way home. from Southern Regional High School, where they bid for the lion's share of the night. The evacuation orders in Lacey Township and Ocean Township have been lifted. That's as of about 15 minutes ago. So the more than 3,000 people who have been here, Southern Regional High School in Manahawkin, or at the other high school, Manchester High School in Manchester, the 2 Red Cross shelters, they will be allowed to go home at this point. There's been a lot of action for the lion's share the last 24 hours. Fire first detected in Barnegat just before noon yesterday, and by last night, it had consumed,
you know what time it is?
Like 8,500 acres. Was moving very quickly.
8,500 acres?
The wind threatened something like 1,300 structures, many of them homes. We talked to some of the 3,000 plus people.
So 1,300 homes are in the line of fire, and 3,000 people have been evacuated. Damn, that's brutal right there.
Who were evacuated about that very situation. Dreadful.
This is what we need.
To sit in your car worrying about the state
Need
of your
some 420.
home.
The police
Or
did
Lieutenant
come
Tobacco.
in around 10 o'clock.
Lieutenant Tobacco.
And they started telling everybody they had to get out because everything was shifting and coming near our community. We don't have any idea what's going on. We don't know if we have a home left.
I am very concerned because
damn, look at
up
that
the
fire.
road, there's a tractor supply
See
company.
that? Did you see that freaking pop up like that? Look at that.
Boom. Up the road, there's a tractor supply company. They said that places took fire, and we're not too far away from it.
It's going to be a challenge, and hopefully our community comes together, as I'm sure they will, and to support one another.
Oh shit. This motherfucker did send in some shit. Real quick. Hold on. Hold the phone. I got some donations here. I gotta read. I'm sorry. I missed it. All right. So we got freaking Straight Jacket coming in with the $2 donation, by the way, saying for butt stuff with big black women strippers. Okay, so that's the first one. We got Straight Jacket coming in again for another $1, saying GB doesn't care about black people. Oh shit. Oh my god. But hey, thank you for the $1 on there. And we got another $1. We got another $1 from Straight Jacket saying Steve Easy isn't allowed near schools. Hey, well, I very much appreciate that, Straight Jacket. Much love, honor, respect for that. Very much appreciate that. But for the rest of you motherfuckers, well,
maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Shit. To answer the question, by the way, what did I see right here? Mike, did you see the post I sent you on Instagram about the California wildfires? No, unfortunately, I have not been on Instagram like that in the last couple of days. I only, the last few days, actually, I've only been posting the show and all of that, but I haven't been like sitting there and like checking my messages like I should. So that's just me being honest. I'm always going to be upfront and honest. So no, I have not, but I will see it. I definitely will look at it for damn sure. I need to catch up with it today. That's for damn sure. On my Epic 18 wheel bicycle trainer house yesterday, I put a 200 watt solar panel. What the fuck are you talking about, Hank? You over here on some crazy ass shit. We got Charles saying, what is wrong with the damn cat? What are you talking about? She over there sleeping. Look, she's sleeping over there. So she's there. Make sure you hit that like button because she's there. You see that? She's in frame. All right, here we go.
Yeah, fires like these guys are part of living down in the Pines, always have been. And New Jersey Fire Service firefighters
oh my
are
goodness.
one of the best.
I've just looked down and there's more. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. We got Hardwire sending in $1, by the way, saying for Mike's stump enlargement surgery. I actually would not want it to be enlarged. I would definitely like to keep it the size it is. But hey, appreciate that $1, kind sir. We have as well, wow, allegedly just came in with the 50 spot. While you guys were joking around over here, having a good ass time, she sends in $50 and says, for your daughter. That's wow. Man, that's definitely not pennies right there. Hey, allegedly, thank you so much. And obviously for the cause there, I very much appreciate that. That's humongous. So thank you very much. Thank you all, you guys, for your kind donations and your resubscriptions, memberships, all of that stuff. I'm very grateful. So thank you all.
At dealing with them, but this one's a lot closer to civilization and thousands of evacuations, a reflection of how serious this is or was. We have seen a ton of seniors this morning, paramedics pushing wheelchairs through the door a few minutes ago. Now,
yo, Mister, good morning to you, kind sir. Sorry for pausing it real quick, guys. Got to say hi to my people. It's important to me.
Pushing them back out to their cars. That evacuation order has been lifted. The Garden State Parkway, the main thoroughfare down to Cape May and back up to northern Jersey, that was actually closed for a large part of the night. That was reopened about an hour ago. So the main mission for us at this point would be to go over to a couple of these neighborhoods in Lacey Township along Jones Roads where the evacuations were and really see exactly what the damage has been or is. Back to you.
All right, Hank Flynn there with Fox 29 Philadelphia. We will make sure to keep in touch here as we gather the latest, but definitely some good news there with the...
Oh, shit. We got brother Steve Easy with the 5 spot, by the way, saying straight sucks so bad at pulling out, he can't even pull out of his driveway. Shit. Hey, well, listen, man. It is what it is, right? No, he's proof of concept that pull out does not work. At least that's a fallacy for him. But hey, brother Straight, he knows the deal. He knows the deal. You know the rules. But hey, Steve, thank you so much for the 5 spot. By the way, I very much appreciate that. Shit. All right.
The evacuations lifted. Thank you again for being here with us.
You bet.
And we do have this live aerial image here coming in from our Fox 29 Philadelphia team. As you can see, the smoke still rising there. I would say about 15 minutes ago, we actually saw some of the flames. But again, we'll keep you up.
He's saying there's reports. I don't know if it's true or not, but there are reports that Musk is going to step away. I believe when his... whatever, it's not like a term, but he agreed, I'll do this for the first 4 months, 5 months, whatever it is. I don't even know what the plan is, but he announced that he's going to step away. So, or that he's considering it. I don't know what's actually happening. To me, I have no fucking idea. I haven't seen Musk in the mainstream news media or anything regarding the mainstream. I haven't seen him anywhere. So, I think he's probably doing a very good job of staying underground in that as much as he possibly can with the amount of hate that he was receiving. And that's what he was saying that was his reason for backing up, was because of the quote unquote radical left.
Updated here with the help of Fox 29 Philadelphia. Heading to our final 2-minute commercial break.
We're definitely not going to no commercial break. I don't know why Josh is lying to us, because we're just going to skip right through that. President Trump on same side of every issue with Netanyahu as well. That's what the claim is. But here's the report. Qatar and Egypt present new deal to Hamas. So real quick, I do want to hear this headline. I do definitely want to hear what is happening here. Alex is actually very in tune, even though, yes, he's biased like a motherfucker over there, Jewish News Syndicate, but he does have a lot of information on shit like this. So let's go ahead and dive into that.
The two sides may have entered the same room at the end of the last round of talks, which could be an important step because until that time, what's been reported is that these are indirect negotiations with the Omani foreign minister running back and forth between the two sides who haven't even necessarily been publicly.
What's up, trigger warning, by the way? Sorry, I was dealing with a whole bunch of things real quick, but good morning to you and happy hump day.
Willing to acknowledge that they would sit in the same room with one another.
One thing that's interesting is we did hear from several reports there by Hebrew media that...
Very true, by the way. Naomi is right. I am flying out Friday. I'm flying out this Friday to go see my daughter. It's going to be an awesome time. And so I'll be taking the week off, this next week, of course. I'm going to spend as much time as possible. But if you guys would like to help out with, because this shit ain't cheap. It's just the way of the road. Anytime you travel... I got a car rental, a hotel, the flight, all this shit is very expensive. So, but if you guys want to, I very much appreciate that.
The Israeli Air Force was
What's up, Tat?
Drills at some
good
point
morning to you, or good afternoon to you over there in the UK. Good to see you, by the way.
This week basically looking at an
What's up,
attack that
Papa
could
Penguin?
happen
And
from
that
Iran. Is there any sort of
me neither.
imminent threat? Is there any sort of information that's
And
been
Gary.
released that Iran could once again attack Israel? I know that's always a
That's funny.
possibility, but is there maybe some intelligence that makes it seem as though that could happen today, tomorrow, in the coming days?
It doesn't seem right now that there's intelligence that Iran is willing to strike Israel and provoke an escalation in this conflict. And I think that that would certainly undermine any possibilities that they would have to avoid a military
And we got freaking Hook Dog up in here too, man. Good to see you guys.
confrontation with Israel and the United States. That would be guaranteeing a military confrontation at this point. I don't think Israel would be willing to be withheld, restrained the way they were under the Biden administration. It would be all out war, and it would be the immediate end of Iran's nuclear program and possibly the end of the Iranian regime if Iran was to attack now. But certainly with regard to any kind of negotiations, the only way that negotiations could succeed in seeing the peaceful dismantlement of the Iranian nuclear program is if those negotiations are backed by a credible military threat. And so I think when you see Israel taking war simulations or practice runs, it indicates that if the negotiations do not...
I'm assuming you mean Lucy. Yeah, Lucy's right there. You see her? Here, I'll put there we go. She's just laying down sleeping. Shit. And the baby, my baby's name, by the way, is Victoria. I call her V. That's everyone calls her baby V, So anyways, back to this.
Not go the way Israel would accept that they could meet the long arm of the Israeli Air Force.
Before I brought you in, I talked briefly about the situation with the reports developing that Qatari and Egyptian...
That's right. We got Dean up in the building, sending everyone here. Yes, sir.
Officials there have presented a new ceasefire proposal, a framework, over to the Hamas terror group. This would, of course, be about that ceasefire.
Real quick, Road Rage says, morning all, Nightmare House is officially gone. New owners got the keys this morning. He finalized it. Let's go, dude. Congratulations and happy, it's a good day. It's a very good day. Because I know you've been dealing with a nightmare for real. But good to see you, by the way. We got Plumpy coming in with the 2 spot, by the way. Very much appreciate my man saying some stripper bucks. Hey, man, I'm cool with them stripper bucks, man. Listen, I don't get offended when dollars are thrown around. You know what I mean? That's not offensive to me. Allegedly says, did anyone eliminate the number 11 and not tell us? I've read 3 reports. Each one of those numbers go from 1 to 10, 12 to 11, no number 11. Is it me or what is it? Man, we're going to have to check that out, huh? Hey, anytime there's reports that come out and there's missing pages, that's something to definitely look into. You know what I mean? They're definitely hiding some if they're not putting out the whole report. And no, you're good, Frank. You're all good. I don't expect everyone to know my daughter's name and all that stuff. Yes, make sure you guys hit that like button, man. And yes, Road Rage, congrats. I know it's been a lot of work. That's a damn fact. All right, back to this.
Fire that could be agreed upon at some point between Israel and Hamas. What do we know about that potential framework that is out there now? I'm sure a lot of the information is being kept behind closed doors, very close to the chest. But what do we know?
Well, I think it's important to recognize that they are talking about a negotiations, which is not for any longer a short-term temporary ceasefire or for return of some of the hostages, but rather for a return of all the hostages and a long-term ceasefire. So this is certainly more in line with what Israel has been proposing for many, many months now. But the question is going to be, will Hamas agree to completely disarm itself and also to no longer be the political force in the Strip, and also who will be the political force in the Strip? At this point, I think that Israel's not necessarily willing to trust that some other Palestinian group whether that's the Palestinian Authority or anybody else, could come in and govern the Strip. Israel believes that they're the only ones that can guarantee the security of the Strip in the long term, and that there needs to be some kind of international actors there to guarantee that any funding that comes in to rebuild the Strip does not go to rebuild terrorist infrastructure.
Before I let you go, I wanted to ask a question about Ben-Gvir, because he's over in, I believe he was in Florida, possibly yesterday. I know he's in the U.S. for a trip, and I wanted to get your take as to whether this is a political trip, if it's just a random trip that is happening here, or what maybe the goal is there.
Well, Ben-Gvir is the Minister of National Security here, who's in charge of the police force. And he's going on a trip to meet professionals, policy professionals, both on the local level and on the national level, to learn more about policing techniques, figuring out if the Israeli police is operating in accordance with norms in other democracies. Ben-Gvir was a bit of an outsider who was coming in to sort of reform the police. However, under the previous administration and the Biden administration, he really wasn't going to be welcomed with open arms. And so it's only now that President Trump is in office and you have a conservative administration in the United States that they're much more willing to accept a visit from Ben-Gvir, who's been pegged as one of the more controversial politicians in Israel.
All right, Alex Trayman, as always, thank you so much.
Papa Penguin, man, he says, I would draw $11,000 in cash a few years ago from a credit union. You would have thought I was robbing the place. No kidding. I know exactly what you're talking about. There was 2 times in my life that I cashed major checks, and both of them, one was for $60,000, one was for $65,000. When I went in there, I wasn't even a member of the bank's check, okay? And I didn't want to become a member. I didn't want to fucking make an account. Well, they were like, you have to make an account. Well, I'm like, no, that's illegal as fuck. Cash your check that you have someone that an account line there that has that money. So give me my fucking money. Now, of course, that shit, anything above like I forget what the money amount, but they have to do a money order. No big deal. You get your money order and you'll get your money in cash in 3 to 5 days or whatever it is. Well, I did the whole process. And of course, I was like, listen, if you guys don't give me my fucking money, I'm going to sue you. And until I said that kind of shit, I didn't see any movement. So yeah, they did treat me like they were like looking up my shit. They had all my IDs and all this. I'm like, Jesus Christ, here we go. But yeah, anyways, they do make you feel like you're a fucking criminal.
For joining me. And one more question I just thought of when you were talking about that. What is the relationship like between Netanyahu?
No proof yet that I've seen. They say they have a line of proof, but I don't know, man. I got to see some video.
Who and Ben-Gvir, are they on the same side here? What is that relationship overall?
Well, you know, the Israeli politics are contentious always, and I would say that there's a lot of politicians that might not be best friends with their coalition partners, but for Netanyahu and for Ben-Gvir, the relationship is an important one. You know, Ben-Gvir had taken his party out of the government when Prime Minister Netanyahu declared a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip. Ben-Gvir has believed that what the prime minister said about total victory is very important, and that the only way to guarantee that on October 7th doesn't happen again is to continue the.
No, it is pathetic. It's like, that ain't your money. That's not the bank's money. That's not your money. It's your account's line money. So what's it fucking matter if your dude that wrote the check has that money amount in that fucking bank account? Then what's the fucking problem? You know what I mean? Yeah, no, it's terrible.
Military pressure until Hamas completely leaves the Strip and is disarmed militarily. His rejoining the government at the end of the ceasefire what really strengthened Netanyahu's coalition significantly, and the government is now a very broad right-wing majority coalition. And that
all jokes. We got chatting with Stacks, by the way. Good morning to you, kind sir. Hopefully you're doing fantastic on this beautiful Hump Day Wednesday. Yes, sir. Welcome
helps
in.
Netanyahu in his bid to affect policy in Israel and to demonstrate both to the domestic audience as well as the international community that he does have a significant and a strong mandate to keep leading the country.
All right. Alex Trayman, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and help discuss all of this further. Anything else you want to add? Anything I left out before I let you go?
Well, I think it's important to note in the negotiations between the United States and Iran that it's been reported that Ron Dermer, who is Israel's Minister of Strategic Affairs, was actually staying in the hotel in Rome during the process of these negotiations. So while the negotiations are taking place between the United States and Iran, it gives further indication and confirmation of the question you asked me regarding Trump saying that Israel and the United States are on the same page on every issue, specifically when it comes to the negotiations with Iran. Both Israel and the United States are working very, very closely together to make sure that any negotiated outcome is an outcome that Israel's willing to.
And not what you said, Papa, what I was saying with what homeboy right here is saying.
All right. Alex Trayman, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And I do want to get you to the latest here on another international.
Tourist dead after attack in India. Okay, this is the terrorist attack that we were talking about on the top of the show. I don't know the ordeal or the story on this, so we're going to figure out what this is. So the headline is Tourist dead after attack in India.
Story that we have been following out of India. That is where security has been beefed up across Indian-controlled Kashmir a day after an attack killed at least 26 people.
I did not, but I know, my father and shit did all that kind of stuff, but I never did any of that. I remember CD burning and shit like that, but not anything tape related. Honestly, I remember cassette and taping over cassette and shit like that, but not real, actual tape. Nah.
Most of them tourists, as Indian forces launched a manhunt for the perpetrators of one of the deadliest attacks in the Himalayan region. As investigators began probing the attack, many shops and businesses in the area closed to protest the killings following a call from the region's religious and political parties. Tens of thousands of armed police and soldiers fanned out across the region and erected additional checkpoints. Now, they searched cars and, in some areas, summoned former militants to police stations for questioning. That is according to various reports from local media. Police called the incident a, quote, terror attack and blamed militants fighting against Indian rule. Now, we did get some information here. A previously unknown...
So they were fighting against Indian rule. Okay.
Militant group, the
Don't really know what that means. Indian, culture, Indian law.
Kashmir Resistance claimed responsibility for the attack in 2 messages on social media. That information coming in from the Associated Press. Now, the groups...
See, look, all you got to do is get you a smart TV that got every app on there. YouTube, freaking Hulu, Netflix, Peacock, all your bullshit that you normally have. It's right there. Boom. You just turn on your TV. No need for any antenna. The fuck? Or cable, by the way. You don't need cable either. You just need internet. You just need Wi-Fi. I haven't had cable, since I think I was 15, 16 years old when everything went internet, and we were like, okay, we'll just have everything on the internet now.
Said authorities had settled over 85,000 quote unquote outsiders in the region and claimed that those targeted Tuesday were not ordinary tourists, but quote, were linked to and affiliated with Indian security agencies. The group's messages could not be independently verified, so all of this kind of under investigation at this point. Earlier this month, the local government...
Whoa, hold on. I am a lame ass. By the way, I pulled a lame ass move when I'm sitting here trying to be as active as I can be to make sure I'm, keeping up. Damn it, dude. No way. We got freaking Mr. Mister that sends in a 50 spot, by the way, saying, from Mr. Mister for your kids' visit, man. Thank you so fucking much for that, dude. Wow. Sincerely, thank you for the patronage and the help for the trip, man. That's definitely, it goes a long way, dude. So thank you guys very, very much for the kind donations. Mr. That is incredible. Appreciate it.
Sure that 83,742 non-local Indians were granted domicile rights in Kashmir in the last 2 years. Indian Prime Minister here, Modi, did cut short his 2-day visit to Saudi Arabia and returned to New Delhi early on Wednesday.
Shit, home phone, the last time I had a home phone must have been around that time when I was 15. I think that's when everything was like, nope, no need for landlines, cable, all that shit, no need.
Some Indian media and some commentators immediately blamed Islamabad for directing such attacks, while Pakistan extended condolences to the victims' families. Pakistan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs saying in a statement, quote, "We are..."
Yeah, didn't you hate it when your dad or your mom or someone would say, get up, change the channel, turn it from 7 to put it on 11, and you'd walk over there, oh, fuck, gotta change the knob, click, now you're on channel 11, click, now you're on channel 3, yeah.
Concerned at the loss of tourist lives. Officials said 24 of the people killed were Indian tourists, and one of them was from Nepal. One was a local tourist guide, and at least 17 other people were injured. Separately, soldiers killed 2 suspected militants in a gunfight after they tried to cross into the Indian side from Pakistan-controlled Kashmir in a northwestern district along the heavily militarized line of control that divides the region.
Me too, Mr. Me too. I'm supposed to be the ops.
The Indian Army saying that in a statement provided to the Associated Press. Now, there was no independent confirmation of that incident. No question, we are going to continue to follow all of this as you look at this video coming in here to our newsroom. We'll keep you up.
Oh, shit. Chopped Italian subs now that the corned beef went bad. Shit. Gross. Yeah, that sucks that went bad. But, hey, chopped Italian subs are bomb as fuck, and you know it. Absolutely.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he's not a bad guy. Well, maybe, but no, he's a great dude. Let's see. I'm bringing scones. Yeah, that's right. Shit. I have a big ass smart TV, but we don't have good internet way out here. Yeah, that you need to get. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to go as like a Musk lover and do Starlink or whatever it's called. Motobomb, by the way, Virginia up in here. Good to see you. Hopefully, you're enjoying your morning. We're going to skip ahead a little bit and see what else we have in the news. Here's the fire, as you guys can see in Jersey. This fire, the amount of smoke is unreal.
Backfiring operation also underway to burn fuel in advance of the main body of fire. Officials say power expected to remain out in that area with, quote,
look at that,
no timetable for return as of this morning. Again, those evacuation orders lifted, so it sounds as though we are not seeing this fire threaten any sort of structures in that area. But again, we are going to keep an eye on all of that and bring you updates here as we do get them.
Yeah, W to the freaking Breakfast Club for you guys hitting that freaking like button, by the way. Yes. Indeed. I very much appreciate it.
Coming in from our Fox 29 Philadelphia team. Do want to take you out to this live image as we go internet.
See, I'm Tiffany. I'm kind of in between. I love boneless wings too, but I love bones in that, bone in. I love flats. I love all that shit. Drumsticks. I love that. But I also love boneless wings too. So I don't know. I'm a fence sitter on that one.
We brought you this a bit earlier on this morning, but this is yet another live look over in the Vatican. As you can see, folks are coming in to pay their final respects to Pope Francis, who, of course, did pass away Monday at the age of 88. We are going to head to a quick 2-minute commercial break, but we will have much more on that coming.
Yeah, bone in for sure. All right, let's see. Now, the rest of the news media really is consumed with some other things. Okay, so we have later today, we have Harvey Weinstein opening statements. I guess he's going to be coming out and speaking today. We also have the state of Florida announces lawsuit against Snapchat. And so this is the attorney general, not this guy. Maybe, I don't know who the attorney general is, but the attorney general. Oh, it is. Okay, James, this guy. It is Florida attorney general. So they are suing. I guess they have a lawsuit against Snapchat, and I don't know the story on that. I don't have any context. So I just happened to see that while I was scrolling through the news media cycle this morning for the show to get ready to know what I'm about to watch and see. Yeah, Florida AG announces lawsuit against Snapchat.
Paige Tucker from our prosecution office as well, and Monica Satcher, who's a mom of 6 and founder of the Acts of Love Ministries. So we're all about protecting families in Florida and keeping our streets safe. And we've noticed a recurring trend, and that is that child predators are using, these dangerous devices right here to get to our kids.
What's up? We got Biker News Canada up in here. Good morning, Bob, and happy hump day to you.
I can't say enough to parents at home to scare you about the dangers that are out there. There are sick people out there, and they're using these social media applications to find their ways into your homes, to reach out to your kids. They're deceptive. They lure them in. They prey upon them. They try to set up meetings. They ask for photos. And we're not going to tolerate that. We're going to hold these people accountable. So today we're announcing that we have filed, as of last night, a lawsuit against...
What's up, Jeffrey? We got Jeffrey up in the building. Shout out to my man right there. Good morning. And hey, listen, happy hump day.
Snapchat, based on the dangerous practices that they have in operating their company. Last year, it was a priority of the legislature. I want to thank Speaker Paul Renner and his chief of staff, Allison Carter, that passed House Bill 3. That was a big deal to them, and for good reason. We continue to see case after case after case where young kids are preyed upon using applications. And
well, it's not just Snapchat that's being used to prey upon these kids. I mean, we've got Roblox. Roblox is actually one of the biggest child issues right there is the Roblox chats. Snapchat is one of them, of course. I'm not going to say that they're not one of them. I think all of these social media sites and even like what Roblox is, a little kid game. And that's exactly why if you do allow your kids to play Roblox, make sure that you, as a parent, you have the ability to go into the settings and put parental settings on that bitch where they cannot talk to other people in voice channels. They can't sit there and text back and forth with friends and stuff like that. Fuck that. You approve what your kid... Don't be a lazy parent. You know what I mean? That's basically what it's at. Is it comes down to not the game, for instance, or as long as they're putting in things that help to prevent all of that. But it's up to the parent to get up and go, you know what? This could be an issue, and there's trafficking that happens all the fucking time. There's this. I need to go in there as a parent and I need to evaluate. I need to see what I'm dealing with here. And I think if parents were involved in that aspect, I think we'd have a lot less of those issues. But unfortunately, lazy parenting has taken over probably the majority.
Chat happens to be one of the worst offenders. Just
exactly,
recently,
Mr.
As Rita can tell you, we were tracking a registered sex offender who for months was online pretending to be other people, seducing young people into sending photographs. House Bill 3 added protections where young teenagers and kids are not allowed to have access to these social media applications. People that are 15 or 16 can have access so long as there's parental permission and that parents have the opportunity.
See, but that's the whole key, Steve, is yes, they are more tech savvy than you guys, for instance. But now we're getting into a generation, like, for instance, my daughter. I'm very, trust me, I'm way more tech savvy than she is, and she will be probably, you know what I mean? I can guarantee you that I grew up with this shit. I deal with technology. I totally understand how social media works. I totally understand how the internet works. I 100% get it. And so now there won't be any more excuse because Gen X, you guys had that last excuse. Oh, we didn't know. Now with millennials, they know, and it's up to the parent to prevent that shit.
Engage in various controls and opportunities to track and know what
right,
the kids
Jeffrey.
are doing. Again, this is a decision for parents, but I encourage everybody at home, please pay attention. Know what your kids are doing on the devices and understand the risks, the dangers that are out there. So kids 15, 16, they can have access with parental permissions, but what we're finding is Snapchat is advertising to kids as young as 13, and kids are able to access these.
Holy fuck. Gunpowder Nitro says, my neighbor sells fentanyl to kids. I don't worry about games. Yeah, no kidding, Gunpowder Nitro. That's fucking crazy. But both of them are equally as dangerous. That's the kind of the worry thing about the games is, I mean, this is how kids get suckered into shit, get enticed. There's all sorts of really fucked up shit that happens on the internet. And the games can be just as bad and have equal consequence too.
Applications and receive photographs and things without knowing what it is. They're not proper procedures to make sure that we know what kids are receiving before they receive them. I've never had Snapchat personally, so this has been a learning experience for me. But our investigators, show where these things disappear very quickly. That's
it's a smart idea, though.
The inherent nature of Snapchat. Photos, messages, they're sent and immediately disappear, which has made this a favorite application for the predators.
Yeah, I don't use Snapchat or TikTok either. I've never created a Snapchat account, even though I totally understand what it is. TikTok, I do have an account, but I don't use it anymore. Believe it or not, I have videos on there that have over 1 million fucking views and shit like that. But to me, that the TikTok shit is bullshit. And it's not like because of the whole, I've been protesting TikTok since before the whole like, oh, is it going to have to be sold and all this shit? I thought it was a garbage ass platform. I'm an amputee, you guys. Some of you guys may or may not know that, right? And so I still ride motorcycles. So I have videos of me that I had posted onto TikTok of me riding my motorcycle. Nothing more. I'm not doing like some wheelie or something like that. I'm just riding. And, I get taken down for that shit because I am showing dangerous activity. And it's not only dangerous activity, they labeled it as something else, but I can't remember. It was something of dangerous activity. And they would ban my fucking videos and shit like that. So I was like, you know what? Fuck these guys. You know what I mean? Like, anytime someone else rides a motorcycle, it's not a dangerous activity, but for some reason, you got to pick on the disabled motherfucker. Hey, I guess, whatever. Oh, shit! Yeah, well, whatever.
Out there and want to get access to our kids. We're going to be putting these bad guys away, and we're going to be going after companies that operate in a dangerous manner that puts
that
our
is
kids
true,
at risk.
Steve.
We also just last week started an investigation into Roblox. This is another online application that enables young people to come in and play games. However, again, this is creating this network where adults, sick people that are out there, pretend to be others, develop relationships, and take advantage of this platform to try to go after our kids. We're not going to tolerate that, not for a minute. We've got millions of people here in Florida that use Snapchat and tens of thousands.
Yeah, it's a totally interesting subject. But hey, Bob, you be safe up there in Canada, and we'll see you on the flip side, man.
Thousands of them appear to be teenagers. So we're going to crack down. We're willing to work.
Man, Brother Red, it's going to be such a great ass time. But yeah, man, absolutely. Much love, honor, respect to you as well. And I'll be here tomorrow. Tomorrow will be my last show for the week and the next week as well. But I have a show today, which is right now. And then tonight at 7 p.m., I'm still doing the Diamond Effect. And then tomorrow morning, we'll do our show again, but that will be the last one. So, yes, I ride well without a leg. That is a fact. And multiple types of horses and, straddles and yeah.
All these companies, we hope that you will want to be cooperative and will want to protect our kids. The sex offender, child predator stuff aside, the nature of these applications is also such that it messes with the minds of kids. They design these things without evidence to be addictive, where there's the constant scrolling, there's push alerts that hit you throughout the day. There's other strategies used to incentivize people to communicate more frequently with others on these platforms. We're seeing increased mental health issues, increased suicides. Kids are reacting and changing in a very dangerous way when they spend hours and hours on these platforms that, again, are designed to be addictive. So we're going to be monitoring those things.
Trigger warning. It's got to be soothing lotion. It needs to be therapeutic lotion.
As well. We've got various consumer protection arguments that we're raising.
I have my daughter. She's almost 3. And yeah, I'm totally in fear for her, you know. We got Brother Lee entering the chat, by the way, saying good morning, chat. Good morning to you, kind sir. Good to see you, by the way. I know you've been out there working your ass off with the you know, bar top and all the different cutting boards, man. It's awesome, dude. Let's see, Mike, have a great flight and have an awesome visit with your daughter. I very much appreciate that, by the way. Always very much appreciate you guys and your support and all the kind messages and engagement, all of that. When I write, I look like a potato on toothpicks. On 2 toothpicks, I am fat. Hey, man, I feel that. I understand I have lots of homies and friends like that, man. It's all good. Mike is gangsta. He uses Icy Hot and broken glass to rub his nub. Yeah, exactly. Stop the cat. Stop the cat, motherfucker. Trigger Mike actually loves his leg massage. That is true, actually. In fact, I think he only loves me because of the magic hands I have. Yeah, well, hey, you know. Oh, shit. No, I'm just playing. Absolutely. Hey, it feels good, man. Not gonna lie, I'm scared for my kids. But if there are crackheads think I won't do anything, they're mistaken. Absolutely, as you should always protect your kids at all costs. At all costs. I don't care what you have to protect them from. Absolutely do it. And you be safe out there, brother Hook Dog, as always, my man. I do want to hear the rest of this.
Coming from House Bill 3 from last year in Florida, we don't just walk the walk, we talk the talk. So I was glad to see our legislature pass this important bill to protect our kids, and we're here to follow up with enforcement here today. So I appreciate you being here. I appreciate our statewide prosecutors for the work.
That's cool. You appreciate. That's cool. And now we have an interesting thing where this has been in the media this morning heavy. I saw this on my social media right when I woke up.
Welcome back.
This is what we're going to finish on right here.
Now from Fox.
And make sure you guys stick around, because at the end of this segment right here, we're going to go ahead and wrap the show up and send you guys off and do a raid. We're going to raid a new person today. So why not?
8:10 on the East Coast and 5:10 on the West Coast. A developing story that we've been following here as Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his team announcing that 8 artificial dyes will be eliminated from the nation's food supply by the end of 2026. Take a listen.
For the last 50 years.
So RFK, 8 artificial dyes are to be eliminated from food in the United States.
American children have increasingly been living in a toxic soup of synthetic chemicals.
If they want to eat petroleum, they ought to add it themselves at home. But they shouldn't be feeding it to the rest of us.
All right, so some comments there by health officials, including RFK Jr. just yesterday. I want to discuss exactly what this means and what happens next. So let's bring in Melissa Wright, an extension specialist in the Department of Food Science and Technology at Virginia Tech. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us and help break it down.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Emotional damage.
Holy shit. Here we go.
Of course. Well, first off, can you kind of break down which actual artificial dyes we're talking about and what they're used in?
Yeah, so the list includes some that we're used to seeing in some of our labeling. We have blue 1, blue 2, green 3, red 40, which is in addition to red 3 that we've already talked about earlier this year. There's also yellow 5 and 6. And then there are 2 that are not used very often, which are citrus red 2 and orange B. And we find those in a lot of the colors, a lot of the items that you showed in your spot there, a lot of cereals, candies, confections, cotton candy is especially anything that's blueberry or blue raspberry flavored probably has.
The same thing here in Alabama, dude. If you want anything like pain for any normal pain that you would normally take, like a Norco, or you take a oxycodone or whatever, you can't get that shit down here. Like, they give you fucking Tylenol. Like, here you go. Like, what do you mean? Fucking Tylenol. Fuck out of here with that bullshit.
As one of the blue coloring in it, blue curacao liqueur. Green 3 is in lime sherbet. So they all make those foods that we enjoy look like the fruits and vegetables that they are based on.
Damn,
What
Baba.
prompted this move now? Was it driven by some new research that came in, public pressure, legal action? Why is this being discussed now?
I think it's been being discussed for several years, but I think it's really part of a push in the Make America Healthy Again sphere. I think that taking these items out, they believe will reduce hyperactivity in children. And so earlier in the year, we talked about red.
Dude, I'm a full-on amputee, and I struggle to get anything prescribed to me. I mean, I have every excuse in the book physically. Like, you can look and you would think, no, it's not like that. I know it's a lot harder when you can't show your pain. Like, it's not physical, it's inside you and they can't see it like that. But for me, it's like, there's valid excuse, and I even struggle with it. So that's how rough it is. And believe it or not, I'm a huge advocate for painkillers for people that need them. I'm not talking about people that are abusing it. That's an outlier. I'm not talking about that. These medications are actually fantastic. They are great ways to handle pain, and it's helped people for a long time. And there are plenty of people out there that don't fucking abuse their shit. Like, for me, I'm very fucking anal with my fucking medications. Always have been. I've always been the person where if it says, take one every 8 hours, I'm that guy. I have never been to be like, oh, here, let me put 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Nope, I don't play that game. Never have. I take everything prescribed. But see, it's like guys like me that need the pain reduction and can't get that help because the loud majority, or maybe the loud minority, I don't know, I would assume that it would be a minority of people that abuse it like that to that extent. It really can be used to help out people. Anyways, back to this.
And that one was taken off the market because studies in animals had caused cancer. And so that would be probably the criteria they would also use to take these off the market as well. That's called the Delaney Clause. So it says if any substance creates cancer in animals or
I
humans.
took gabapentin for my first 3 years amputated, Steve. I had 800 milligrams twice a day. So 1,600 milligrams per day I was on for 3 years. It was basically up until I moved here that I quit all of my medication, everything. And that's because I didn't have any insurance. I didn't have any, I couldn't even go see a doctor basically unless I was paying with cash. At the time I was broke. So I was like, well, I'm just going to quit everything, I guess. I hopefully I don't die. You know what I mean? And luckily it wasn't an issue, but I shouldn't have had to quit that because of my financial or medical coverage situation. But unfortunately, that is what happened.
And that should not be used in foods and drugs.
What challenges maybe do food manufacturing companies face to make their products without these artificial dyes, but also how could this impact consumers?
It's going to be a long process. I think that this time frame that they have is fairly aggressive and probably unrealistic. It's going to take a lot of time for these food companies to reformulate their products and to find colors from natural sources that are going to give consumers the happy feeling of I'm buying something that I'm familiar with. And there are going to be costs associated.
That's actually pretty radical right there, Papa Penguin. But yeah, left-handed tobacco really does help in a lot of ways, hence why I use it a lot. I actually, believe it or not, I didn't even start smoking left-handed tobacco until I lost my leg. Just saying facts. Oh shit! Oh shit! I never needed drugs or any substance for me to feel necessarily good. I didn't need that in my life. But when I did go through this and blah 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 whatever, I did find that left-handed tobacco helps me a lot, and so hence why I use it. anyways,
with
but
this
yeah,
timeline, and I can only assume those costs will probably get passed down to the consumer as opposed to being absorbed by the manufacturers. It's probably going to hurt, especially very small manufacturers, which is what we do work a lot with here in Virginia.
So you're chucking in 4, per time that you're, dude, that's so lame. And each tramadol is 50 milligrams. So you're taking, dude, that's outrageous. Why not just fucking give you a real, just give the dude a freaking painkiller? What's the deal? Why that, to me, that seems worse. 8 tramadol a fucking day when an oxy could fucking fix that right there, right? You don't need 8.
And
That's
I have
crazy.
to ask, are there any natural alternatives to these dyes? Are they as effective, safe? Break that down for me.
Yeah, so there are definitely a lot of natural sources for reds. You have things like hibiscus. You have turmeric for a lot of yellow coloring.
Ironically, that's true. Ironically, the junkies get whatever they want. I don't know how that fucking works.
They're not going to be as vivid as what we're used to seeing. So the candies and cereals that, Tricks and all those things that I used to love when I was little, I mean, I still do, but they're just not going to look the same. And those colors are also not as stable, especially when you're putting them into a different matrix or you're heating them or you're processing those foods. So I don't know that the colors are necessarily the issue. I think the fact that you find them in highly processed foods is probably really the major issue. And so, again, natural colors are still color additives, and they're still going to have to be regulated and made sure that they don't contain anything that's going to bring any harm to us by consuming those as well. So they are from a natural source, but they are still color additives and would still be regulated by the FDA.
Have other countries moved to do this same thing?
Yes.
So in the EU and in Canada, they are using a lot of naturally sourced coloring already. I'm not an expert in that, obviously, but that's my understanding. And that foods that contain any of these synthetic certified colors actually have to come with a warning label on the product that it contains.
Yeah, that is typical around the other countries have implemented not having these kind of things. Hence why a lot of our cereals and candies aren't actually sold overseas, because they have laws against it. But nonetheless, I really don't have, an opinion on that. I just say, it's better for whatever health-wise, fuck it. We shouldn't be, kind of like what RFK said. I do like what he said regarding that. He said, if people want to eat petroleum, allow them to add that shit into their food themselves if they want. You know what I mean? I like that statement. So I feel like that resonated with me a little bit. Anyways, with that being said, stick around for the raid. Let's make sure he's still live because we have done that before. We've set up a raid and then all of a sudden we go to end the show and dude's not live anymore. Wow, he's not live anymore. It's a good thing I fucking looked. Do you see? So we're going to have to send you guys over to the Saint. He's the only one that is live right now. So anyways, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning for more of the World's Madness. And of course, it'll be our last show for the week and weekend. There won't be a members only on Saturday. Obviously, I'll be in California. And then that week, I'm not going to be streaming either because I'm going to be spending time with my daughter. So we'll be back, tonight, though, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. For the Diamond Effect, if you guys want to roll through, I always appreciate that. Make sure you guys follow my Instagram, by the way, at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my lifestyle, but of the show, as well as Millennial Food Time, man. That's a great way to get a hold of me personally. And if you guys want to hang out with all of us in the Breakfast Club, make sure you guys join in on the Discord. Naomi's putting it in the chat. And if you guys are watching this on the replay, it's in the description of every single video. So make sure you guys join up. With that being said, make sure you guys hit that like button on the way out. God bless everybody, and we'll see you guys this evening. Much love, honor, respect, everybody.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken, he rides on to his ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and of the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can be. to submit.